what we have here is our setup, InferKit demo, app.inferkit.com if you want to make your own AI-generated nonsense. So how this is going to work is we're going to make a story, or more accurately, we're going to start a story, and we're going to let the AI take it away for AI story time. This may become a weekly thing, since I only have 7,500 free characters to work with. So we'll have to wait every week to sort of come back to this and continue the story, whatever we make with it. How do we want to start this story? How do we begin? Perhaps we should do a fantasy tale, if you will. In the deep forests in the dark forests of Alarimica. In the dark forests of Alarimica, our hero ventured. Clad in shining white armor, the brave Clyde Summers rode through, seeking tales of a lost sword that he wished to find. This sword... I need to fucking stop with these comments. I don't wanna spoil it. I wanna let the AI sort of do its thing, and then we'll come and we'll see what it's given us here. I'll bring it back once we have it up. This sword was known as the Silverwing. The story of Clyde Summers and the Silverwing begins in Narnia, a magical land where each adventure is magical. In this world, elves dwell with the fairies, and evil wizards reside in the castle of the evil queen. Below her fortress lies a spire of black stone, rising high into the sky. Beneath this spire lays the lair of the queen's evil henchmen, the scaly Ursids. There, beneath the glass caverns, is the remains of a great chamber, where the queen's minions lie in their darkness, feeding on magical leeches. Then, one night, a young Eben Spriggs, also known as Clyde Summers, was awoken by a strange voice whispering from within the walls. A dying servant whispered to the boy, warning him that Queen Delendra was on the verge of awakening the Mask of Damocles. She was a master necromancer, capable of casting a great spell. The boy was not to let this happen. He must seek the evil queen and the Silverwing before she could bring the dead back to... Keep going, please. Before she could bring the dead back to life, and the dead would rise up, seeking revenge on those who killed them. Clyde sprung from his bed, grabbed his beloved lute, and rushed out into the night. Looking down at the spire, Clyde realized that it was nighttime. All was quiet in the forest below. Then, he heard it. The voice of his father calling from below the spire. Soon he was running towards the great chamber below until he reached the glass cavern, which spanned the chamber. Looking down, he saw his father lying on a ledge, surrounded by a swarm of Ursids, his body beheaded. Clyde was filled with horror. His father was dead, but still alive, a victim of the queen's evil magic. Still, Clyde could not resist the call of his father's spirit. He stepped into the dark, pitch-black dungeon below the spire and slipped his lute into his bag in case it was a trap. Suddenly the ground shook, and what appeared to be a portal opened above him. It was black and twisted, with a gleaming sphere in the center of it. Oh my god, this is awesome. The sphere was surrounded by flames, and soon one of the flames shot up and struck Clyde. He fell through the portal. There, in the top half of a castle, Clyde saw a knight, clad in shining white armor, wielding a silver-winged sword. The Night Knight bowed to Clyde, and stated that he would become Clyde's sworn protector. He was known as the Knight of the Silverwing. He told Clyde of the magical sword, which could grant anyone great power. He explained that the way to use the sword was to speak to the crystal orb, and those who were worthy would be granted the ability to vanquish evil. The Knight of the Silverwing promised that he would be there for Clyde every step of the way. As Clyde followed the Knight of the Silverwing down the flight of stairs, he could see and hear his father's spirit and the deceased servants of the Queen still trapped within the castle walls. One by one, Clyde engaged in combat with the Queen's minions. The Queen's dark magic would not allow the dead to escape her. Oh no, I forgot to pull it back up. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm terrible. I'm just gonna hit generate, we're gonna press on. One by one, Clyde engaged in combat with the Queen's minions. The Queen's dark magic would not allow the dead to escape her grasp. Some of the Queen's henchmen were vanquished, and others were simply driven off. The great dungeon had become a small pit of despair and death. Clyde, however, remained unharmed, and the Wizered Queen was now quite bewildered. When she failed to master her new minion, she fled down a series of dark tunnels and into the Underdark. The last night, the Knight of the Silverwing was soon found on the surface. He told Clyde that the sun had yet to rise. The boy thought the knight might have taken the sword and wished him good fortune. The Knight of the Silverwing took the boy to meet his father's spirit, who welcomed him into the spirit realm. Once inside the spirit realm, the knight told Clyde about a place known as the Doorway to the Kingdom of the Dead, an ancient doorway beneath the earth that led to the land of the dead. Once there, the boy could become the Knight of the Silverwing and vanquish all who were evil in the spirit realm. The Knight of the Silverwing, however, was much too old to journey there. When Clyde awoke the following morning, he noticed his loot was gone. He searched all around the spire and in the chamber, but he was unable to find it. He made his way back to the surface. Just outside the chamber, he met the Knight of the Silverwing again, and they both agreed that they were each other's sworn protector. The knight gave the boy a pair of keys, a magical compass, a talisman, and a long sword. The knight stated that his sword was not the sword of the Knight of the Silverwing, but instead belonged to the Knight of the Silverwing, whom the Knight of the Silverwing could only reach through dreams. Then the knight transformed into his true form and told the boy that he would accompany him through the doorway to the Kingdom of the Dead to find the true sword. As they descended down the stairwell, the boy noticed that the air around them had become slightly cold. Soon a lone orb, similar to the crystal sphere in the center of the castle, appeared, and the knight jumped up into it. As he did so, the orb vanished, and he appeared back in the top of the tower. As he lifted his sword from the floor, the boy pointed his lute at the knight and whispered, I didn't think you'd be down here." Soon they came upon a hollowed out door in the side of the spire. They opened the door and entered into the dark, cold, endless darkness. The knight's sword provided light to navigate the way, and the boy was very thankful for it. After a few minutes, they came to a small platform, and Clyde reached for the orb. Upon touching it, he heard his father's voice, telling him to look inside the orb. Inside the orb, he saw a painting of his dead father and several potions. As the boy approached the second and last potion, he opened it. Inside the potion were 2 long swords. He took the swords and fell to his knees. After he prayed to the dead, he heard his father say to him, "My son, you will be the true Knight of the Silverwing." As the boy turned to leave, the knight pushed him to the ground and stood over him with the sword, demanding, "Who are you?" The boy removed his helmet, and he revealed his true identity, the same young knight who had finally destroyed the great evil. The knight recognized the boy and stated that his name was Kalan, and he would take care of him. The knight became so angry that he stabbed the boy through the heart. The sword pierced through the boy and disappeared from sight. The boy gasped and gurgled as he fell into a deep sleep. Kalan walked back through the doorway to the Kingdom of the Dead and into the castle. Clyde had died while carrying the Wizered Queen, and his father passed on, but the boy's blood remained and would only serve to provide power to the fallen knight. Shortly after, Kalan re-entered the realm of the dead and once again entered the Temple of the Dead. As soon as he stepped inside, a voice echoed throughout the room saying, "You have been away too long, Killan the Silverwing." He turned and saw the Wizered Queen sitting at the altar. His face was contorted into a look of contempt as she asked, "How could you?" Killan replied, "I shall explain to you, my queen. We were on the verge of success when I was attacked. I fought valiantly to defend myself, but I was outmatched by the foe. I am so sorry to have failed you, but my father, the Knight of the Silverwing, has returned to challenge your throne, and if he is victorious, then I am determined to fight for your honor as well." Killan didn't expect the queen to answer. She simply smiled as she exclaimed, "Oh, how delightful! A knight from the kingdom of the living! When I was a young girl, he protected me from the enemies of the dead, but now he is one of the dead, and you are seeking to take his throne." The queen waved her hand, and the Wizered army suddenly appeared before Killan and his army. The two armies began fighting, with the Wizered winning in just oh my god. Oh no, that's it. That's it. That's where we stop. That's where it's stopping us. We can't go any further. I think I'm fine with us stopping here. We'll pick this story up next week. That is awesome, and I'm so glad. I am very excited to continue this story once next week when we have more characters to work with. Tune in next time. Same Twitch channel, same Twitch place.